Let's do sell highs here. Heath, you're saying sell high on Jake Ferguson. Is he still the number one? Is he the number one tight end in fantasy?
Or 2 touchdowns, so I would guess so.
Yeah, and who's the other one? It was DeAndre. Oh, what?
What? Just for the good teams, right? If you're struggling to get into the playoffs, I think DeAndre Swift probably gives you 3 more good games. And the schedule turns awful. And the split between he and Kyle Monangai has grown to where Monangai's just had his best game and looked really good with the extra work. And if we get into a situation where the Bears all of a sudden are back to averaging 3.8 yards per carry instead of 4.8, and Kyle Monangai is getting 10 to 12 touches per game, then down the stretch, it could be bad for the Bears run game. So I don't like, I've got him ranked as a top 12 running back this week. I think Dave and Jamie do too, but I don't think you're probably going to be able to take 3 more good games as a playoff team and then sell him right before the schedule turns awful.
Isn't the move here to take Swift and pair him with another player and try and upgrade to one of the better running backs?
One of the best running backs.
Sure.
Oh, you'd have to sell very high.
Right.
Yeah.
Very high.
Who'd you rather have rest of season, DeAndre Swift or Saquon Barkley?
Saquon's higher on the trade chart, but that gap has shrunk quite a bit.
I think you could probably trade him straight up for Barkley or Henry in a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Ferguson?
I don't believe he's going to continue to be the number 1 tight end. I don't think anybody at all probably believed that last week with CeeDee Lamb coming back. But in CeeDee Lamb's first game back, George Pickens fell off a lot more than Jake Ferguson did. And Ferguson scored 2 touchdowns. So why don't you just go see if you can convince somebody that Jake Ferguson's just going to be this good all year?
So you trade him straight up for Bowers, McBride on the bye?
100%. Kittle after coming off of the 0-point game, 100%.
You're not going to trade him straight up for Kittle. Like, I think you could ask for something more than just Kittle.
Who's higher on the trade chart?
Ferguson.
Oh,
and I'd rather have Kittle rest of the season.
Jamie, break the tie. Kittle or Ferguson?
Ferguson.
Interesting. Okay. Jamie, your sell highs are Davante Adams and Michael Pittman.
Pittman's an easier case to be made just because we saw prior to Josh Downs getting hurt, the numbers were starting to trickle down a little bit. And I think with what Alec Pierce has done and maybe starting to do a little bit more, obviously Tyler Warren's there and Downs picking up a little bit more targets and production. Like, is Pittman going to continue to be as productive as he has been? So if there is a trade window, it's probably now with Downs still coming out of the concussion protocol. May not play again this week, but I think Pittman can bring back something very, very solid in return. And then just looking at Adams coming off the 3-touchdown game without Puka Nacua there, going into their bye week. Again, this is a sell high for a superstar. Not that he hasn't performed like one for a good portion of the season, but I just don't think it's as sustainable as what we just saw.
Okay. Dave, time for your sell highs.
It's Javonte Williams and A.J. Brown. In the case of A.J. Brown, he's coming off of a monster game. That's always a good time to sell high on somebody. The last time A.J. Brown came off of a monster game, he scored less than 3 PPR points the very next game. Not predicting that for this week for A.J. Brown, but just saying that he's at a high point. All of a sudden, we're going to buy into Philadelphia being able to throw the ball. It's just not what I would expect their identity to be rest of season, and that they will eventually go back to being at least balanced between running and passing, if not run heavy, and that Saquon will get his act together. So I am nervous about A.J. Brown being, 20 PPR points per game good. That seems like a stretch, but I'm saying sell high. I'm not saying sell for whatever. If you can trade him and get, a low-end running back and a really good wide receiver in exchange for him, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all.
Okay, so would you trade A.J. Brown for – look, we got to be realistic here, right? DeAndre Swift. Let's start with that. Swift or A.J. Brown?
I think it's close between the two. I think I have I'm looking right now. Swift, I've got at 18 points in PPR. Or Brown, I do. Swift is a spot higher, so give me Swift.
Would you trade A.J. Brown for Travis Etienne and Zay Flowers?
Yes. That is a deal that I like. Assuming that we've got Lamar Jackson coming back.
Yeah. Here's what I like.
I wish he had practiced. Once we see Lamar Jackson practicing, I feel real good about him playing this week. And that's obviously a huge key to Zay Flowers.
Here's what I like about A.J. Brown. He
convinced me, Adam.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, he's got the Giants this week. They might be without 2 defensive backs. We're going to start him this week. We have to start him this week, right? I mean, with the buys and the injuries and whatever.
Yeah,
he has a bye.
Everybody who's decent.
Look at the schedule after the bye. At Green Bay, Detroit, at Dallas. We've got potential shootouts there. We got the Bears after that. At the Chargers, we got a potential shootout. We got the Raiders after that. We've got Washington and Buffalo in the fantasy championships. Both games are on the road, so could have bad weather. But we've got a lot of really good offenses left on the Eagles' schedule. Could be a pass-heavy rest of season. You know, pass-heavy for them could be 30, 32 pass attempts, but that's still a lot, and that's 8 or more targets every week for A.J. Brown, maybe. So that's what I see. When I look at the Eagles' schedule, I see a lot of potential high-scoring games, which could be very good for their passing game.
The thing that I'll give a positive and a negative. Negative is I think one of A.J. Brown's touchdowns last week was the same stupid route he's been running all year where he runs 10 yards, turns around and stops. But then he just decided to take off down the sideline.
He was pointed in that direction from Jalen Hurts.
What a great quarterback. And the second thing, speaking of a great quarterback, there are 6 quarterbacks who have a catchable target rate of 89% or better. Jalen Hurts is one of them, and he has the highest air yards per attempt of anybody on that list. Hopefully they continue to throw more of these deep passes because Jalen Hurts is doing a phenomenal job making those balls catchable.
Well, even he had said that he hadn't been playing that. Look, I'm on your side. I think the Jalen Hurts criticism by the national media is insane and the local media. There are things he doesn't do well, but we ignore the things that he does incredibly well. He also is not running. 3 straight games where he is just not running. It is bizarre. Sure. So that's going to actually hurt A.J. Brown when he starts running again. But he does. I mean, he will. It's he's not going to stop running. He had negative 10 rushing yards in week 7, but
it's probably why they stopped.
Again, I mean, that schedule enticed me with A.J. Brown. It's just something to think about. Dave,
and the targets have been there for him. I mean, that's the encouraging thing too. It's not like we're waiting for these targets to come.
Exactly. Dave, Javonte Williams, what the hell? I hope you're wrong about that because I have so much Javonte. I mean, this guy's got one of the best roles in fantasy. Unfortunately, he's one of the least productive receiving running backs. It's unbelievable. But he gets targets. He gets all their carries. He's their goal line guy. We like the Cowboys. What are we doing here? Why are we selling high on Javonte?
Yeah, you've got to sell very high on Javonte because I do view him as like a top 5-6 type of running back rest of season. But the schedule is going to get harder, and I imagine that at some point the Dallas offense will start to either struggle or struggle to run the ball or get into a bunch of high-scoring shootouts where Dak's just going to have a bunch of games where he throws a ton and there isn't much there. 2 weeks ago, we saw this against Carolina, and Javonte Williams didn't have a good game then. So it's not a call to get these guys off your team. It's if you can if you can upgrade them, do it. If you can sell high and get more value for them now, because a few weeks from now, I don't think they're going to have the same value. That's the point.
Okay. He does have tough run defenses.
And I am kind of little squeamish on Javonte rest of season, to be perfect.
Who are you aiming for to trade to get upgrade over Javonte?
I mean, I'm looking to try and turn him into, I can't do it just with him, but find me Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, one of those studs, or take me to wide receiver. Top 5 type of wide receiver. I know I'm going to have to give up something with Javonte Williams to touch any of those guys.
Right.
But I don't know if Javonte was going to carry the same value if he has 2 mediocre games in a row.
No, I don't disagree with that. I just
get nervous about him when it happens.
Pie in the sky to get those type of players.
No, not unless some of those players I've got a 1-6 team with Bijan Robinson. And so if I was desperate to start winning games, I've got to break up Bijan Robinson, B. Robinson, into 2 good starters for my team. getting Javonte Williams and another wide receiver, you can give me Zay Flowers. I'd have to look at that really hard.
Yeah.
You would trade Robinson for Javonte and Zay Flowers?
I would consider it.
I mean, look, I made a trade that I thought was great. Turned out to be horrible. I traded McCaffrey for Kyron Williams and Nico Collins. I'm losing that big time, but
some of that has to do with just the issues in Houston.
But I think
now Nico's hurt.
I knew about those issues. But if you trade Javonte Williams and someone, I mean, would Javonte Williams and like Davante Adams be enough for Christian McCaffrey?
I think it would be close. I think it would be close enough, but there's context that's needed because the person that has Christian McCaffrey isn't going to auto do that trade. They've got to have a need for wide receiver.
Yeah.
I will just say, just for people listening, like Javonte hasn't just been a volume merchant. There's two running backs.
Had really good efficiency.
There's two running backs that are averaging more than 4 yards after contact per rush attempt. And one of them, we said his name a bunch of times, a bunch of different ways, Bijan Robinson. And the other one's Javonte Williams.